Creating a YouTube studio can be a daunting task, especially after you see all of these big name YouTubers that have all of the mounted lights, they have the ceiling access, all of the expensive gear. But what if you live in a small space and you don't have really all of that background separation, all of the expensive lighting? I'm going to show you what I use so that hopefully you can go ahead and get an idea of how you can make it more budget friendly, and you can do all of this with just a couple of lights and also having a small space like I do here myself. So I'm gonna take you along with me with my iPhone and the Rode mic attached, kind of in vlogging mode, so you can see what my space looks like, what lights I have set up, and also how I turn my dining room into a YouTube studio along with my workspace for my full-time job. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first part, this is what's behind the camera. I have all of that, all of the cabling mess. I haven't really gotten to that because I do move the monitor around a lot. Whenever I'm working, the monitor moves to the front. And like now, whenever I'm recording, it moves off to the side to leave space for my camera. Now the camera I'm using is a Canon R6, and I do have a 16mm lens on that so that it can be a little bit extra wide. I can go ahead and keep it this close. It's probably about a couple inches away from the desk, and I can go ahead and record with that. I have my Sennheiser MKH600, I believe, and I have an XLR mic, so it goes ahead and connects to the Focusrite, which is right there, and that's hooked up to my MacBook with this Anchor USB-C hub. I do have a PS5, that's what I use mostly, and I also have a Nintendo Switch. Whenever I want to connect it up, I hook it all up into the extension cord or the power surge that I have down there, and I can play either one. So the second part about this is the lights. Now I have 3 lights, but you really can do it with only one. I have this Light Dome SE with the Amaran 200E. This is a daylight light, so it's only white light. I have that kind of to give me a little bit of feel, but the main light that I'm using is this newer 60-watt light. I don't know the exact model name. I believe it says the CB60, and I also have a aperture lantern little softbox there. This is at 100%, and I'll show you guys right now what it looks like if I were to turn that one off and just leave this one on. So as you guys can see, this light is really bright. That is now off. It was only at 10%, so it really doesn't make much of a difference. And when you have a camera like an iPhone recording you, you won't really need a second light because the iPhone will make up for it. Now here's a quick look of my desk. Like I said, today is recording day, so I do have some water. I have my white cards so that I can go ahead and do the white balance. I have my Keychron Q5 here, which is my main keyboard now. I do have another couple of keyboard reviews probably that have come out before or after, before I get to the review of this one. I have a wrist rest because it's a little bit taller. My pen for my little to-do list that I have. My MX Master 3 mouse. I have an LG monitor. And then I just got sent a little fine headphones that I'm going to be reviewing soon. And then I have my MacBook with my coffee skin from Nerd Graphics. And then like I said, the monitor's right there. I'm actually thinking of moving that to an arm so I have better space or more space under the monitor itself. Now here's the back of the chair here. Like I mentioned in the backdrop, I don't have much space here. It's probably about one person or one of me, the width that I am. And then I do have the things mounted on the wall. I have some of my headphones. I have both of my backpacks. One I use for photos whenever I go out on the weekends. The other one is my main one from work. It's a little bit scuffed up. And then I also have my sunglasses in there. And then over here, this is kind of less functional and more kind of backdrop-y. So a lot of the stuff on here I don't use. They're just there so that in the backdrop it looks nice. I have an IKEA lamp. The only one that's useful is my Apple Watch charger, which is where I set my Apple Watch. I have an Alexa Echo. And then I also have my iPad Pro. That one's just there right now for a backdrop. It does have my deep sea skin. You can get that at nerdgraphics.com. I have my headphones here, which are the Sony MH1000, whatever. It's their 3rd generation noise cancellation headphones, which I really like. And I have my little catch-all tray. I got that from Target. I have here my headphones and then my keys. So the last part of my studio, like I said, is kind of small. I didn't want another light stand right here. So what I did was I mounted that. That's the only other thing that's mounted aside from the pegboards is I have this mount for the wall. And then I have a newer 660 light that's shooting yellow light that gives it to the back of my head. That's called a rim light to separate you from the background. especially when your hair color looks exactly like the background. And in this case, I have black hair and I'm up against the black pegboards. And I chose it to be that yellowish hue, as you can see, because it'll match the lamp. So in the video, whenever I'm in my main seat, you can see that this light will be in the background and that won't be my rim light to show kind of like that's hitting my head. All right, so one last thing I want to talk about, because I'm actually really proud of how I found a solution. I just kind of jerry-rigged this whole thing here to have my microphone hook up. Let me move my light. So what I did was I have this little ball head that was supposed to be for a monitor. So I have that, I hooked it up to the hot shoe here on my Canon R6, and then I have a super clamp that's actually leaning on the front of this ball head, if you can see it there. So it's leaning there, and then I have this small rig extending thing that I have hooked up to the super clamp, and I have it brought up here, and it has a ball head at the end, and I have another iPhone here, what is that, tripod mount, so that you can hook it up, that has a hot shoe mount. So then I have another monitor hot shoe mount on it that's also a ball head. So then I hooked it up here, and on the ball head I finally have this Sennheiser microphone adapter thing that I found that's also for a hot shoe, but I've just screwed it onto the top because it's also screwable to a 1/4-inch screw. And then there's my little microphone setup so that I don't need any other kind of boom arms going across here. Like I said, it's a small space, so I try to create the most of what I have. So that's what my YouTube studio looks like. Hopefully you got some ideas. Hopefully you know how to set up your space. Remember to always plan ahead, plan what the space is going to look like. And if you don't have money to buy all of the gear, stay by a window. You can use your phone. You saw kind of the quality of how my iPhone 13 Pro looks like, and you can get a relatively cheap mic. This one I believe is around 100. You can find some for 50 from Deity. I'll link all of that down below. Let me know down in the comments what is one tip from this video that you're going to use for your own personal YouTube studio. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one.